Get ready
for another episode
of Live Speak. With Justin the Geek.
What you're about to hear.
Live Speak. Justin the Geek.
Breaking news.
Live Speak.
Interesting guests.
Justin
the Geek.
Your calls and texts.
Live Speak. Tips and news you can use. Warning.
This program is highly addictive and habit-forming. Side effects include happiness, knowledge, memory improvement, and retention, increased attention span, loss of disabilities, and more. Consult your doctor before listening to this program.
Now, enjoy the show responsibly.
Welcome, everybody, to Live Speak with Justin the Geek. I am so glad to be back. I haven't been on the show for, a couple weeks. Alan took over for me last week, which is really nice of him to do. I hope everybody enjoyed that. He did a show on social media empires. I enjoyed it, and I'm glad he took over for me. But I'm glad to be back. I have some good things to talk about today. I went to a show yesterday here in Portland. It was called AEPDX, and it's Adobe After Effects Portland, and it was fantastic. This is one of the reasons I moved back here from Montana. Well, one of the 655 reasons. But the main one was culture. I wanted some culture and art, and you don't get things like this over in the small town of Montana. So I went to this show yesterday, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey because it was interesting. I wanted to get over there. The show started at 12 at noon, and so I left my place at 10. Now, it only takes about 15 or 20 minutes to get over there, but parking in downtown Portland is terrible, so I wanted to find a spot, get there early, set up with my audio equipment and things like that. So I left. I got down there. There's a little bit of construction, but I finally got down there about 10:25 or 10:30. I seriously drove around for an hour, literally, finding a parking spot because I didn't know that the Grand Floral Parade was also going on. So I drove around and wasted $20 in gas driving around. No joke. I put $20 in before I went over just to fill up my tank. And when I came home, I was back down to where I started from. So I wasted that much, and I ended up parking about a mile away and walking over there. But needless to say, I got there, and I got over to the show finally, and to the venue. It's a small little venue, maybe holds 200 people, 300 people, and got there at 11:30, figuring people would be in there, and maybe I'm not going to get the seat that I wanted. And I walked in, and you go up these steps, and you go around the corner, and back in the back rooms where all the chairs are, and there was nobody there. And there was people there setting up lights and equipment, and so I just kind of walked in, and one guy walked past me. He's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Good." And now, mind you, I paid for my ticket in advance. I was expecting to show somebody my ticket. I just went to the back and sat down. Had the prime seat. I sat right on the edge, right up front, and nobody questioned me. It was really weird, but I got there, and this guy, Chris, who was the organizer, I spoke to him a couple days before this, and about 11:45, somebody came back. A young girl came up to me, and she says, do you know what the Wi-Fi password is here? And I'm like, no, but Chris over there does. Oh, okay. She's like, are you a journalist? And I said, yeah, of sorts. I'm a radio show host, and I'm doing some audio. Oh, okay, great. And then people kind of started coming up to Chris, the organizer, and asking what was going on and when people could come in. That's when I caught on that I wasn't supposed to be back there yet. Somebody came up and said, when are we supposed to let people in? And he said, what time is it? And it was 11:45. He says, well, let's do noon. And I thought, okay, I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm already here and set up. So, and Chris saw me, and nobody questioned me. And people started coming in, and they had name tags on, and I didn't have a name tag. So I sat there, and I actually went up to Chris, and I said, I don't think I was supposed to be here yet, but I'm here. And I told him, I'm Justin. I talked to you over email and a couple days ago, and he said, oh, yeah, that's right. Come here real quick. So he introduces me to Paul Babb, who's the CEO of Maxon Software. Maxon is the visual effects and 3D software that they use in a lot of movies. Iron Man 3 is a big one. And I talked to him, and he gave me a little bit of an interview, and we talked just about random technology and stuff. But he's going to be on the show. I haven't nailed that date down yet, but he will be on the show. He's a great guy. Other people that were at the show, it was a great show. Steve Ford, who's the senior product manager for Adobe, he was there. Now, David Simons was there. He's the original creator and scientist for Adobe After Effects. The very first person who created that in 1993, I think it is, came up with the idea for Adobe After Effects, which is insane. So this genius is in the room with me, 5 feet away from me. With David Simons was a software engineer named Amir Stone, and he did some demonstrations for us, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Todd Capriva, who's the Adobe technical support lead, and then another person, Harry Frank, who is a motion designer and animator from Red Giant Software. He actually lives in Portland, and he was there as well. So, like I said, you don't get that in Montana. And I'm just looking around at these people, and they're plain clothes, none of them are in big suits, and I'm sure they make a lot of money. But you would never know it. And that was the best part to me. And I actually got a little bit of video. I don't think I was supposed to, but I had my little flip camera. I kind of looked around and shot some video and did my own narrating, which was terrible, but that's for me. I don't think I'll ever put that on the internet or anything, just so I proof that I was there someday. But it was great. I mean, I'll tell you more about what happened, and that's what today's show is about, mainly about Adobe Creative Cloud Suite and how the debate between cloud software suites and packaged DVD suites, because a lot of people don't want to have everything in the cloud. But we'll get to that later. I actually have a new section that I want to try out, so it's time for... This is Goofy News. I decided to do some goofy and strange news from around the world in the U.S., mainly because the U.S. is very strange. But I'll start off with the story here that I found, and this is an ex-student this ex-student shoots porn at a school as payback. Now, this is a former Catholic school student in Nebraska who took revenge on former classmates who gave her flack for entertaining the adult entertainment business, or entering, I should say, the adult entertainment business in X-rated style. This former Catholic student, go figure, went into porn. She goes to the school and walked around topless and had people videotape it on a Catholic school. So, only in America, right? I think it's great. I think it's funny. She says, so you definitely heard that I got arrested for... she has calls it the, I don't even know how to pronounce it, something XXX picture on her website, and she got ticketed for trespassing and public nudity, and decided to call the Lincoln Police Department and Crime Stoppers because God couldn't help. So it was a little payback. I guess she got razzed and everything. That one caught my eye, of course, whenever I hear, I'm a man, I'm sorry, I hear the word ex-student shoots porn. It's interesting to me. The next one that's crazy is it's a very painful way to lose weight. And I didn't think this was real, but I've looked at it, and this is in the Huffington Post, and it's all over on Gizmodo and things like that. It's a new tongue patch. I said that right. That's a tongue patch for a diet. And what it is, I mean, if the idea of losing weight by having a patch sewn on your tongue seems hard to swallow, that's the point. It's this tongue patch. It's a new cosmetic surgery technique that can allegedly help people lose up to 30 pounds in a month via having this postage stamp size patch on your tongue. And the idea is the rough patch is designed to make eating solid food so painful that patients only consume liquids, which is crazy to me. But the material used in the patch is Marlex, an abrasive material used to repair hernias. And I'm sure my mom knows what that is, and my dad, who has had a hernia, and anybody else that's had a hernia. But and then it's secured to the top of the tongue by stitches. And well, that's crazy to me. So I put that in my Goofy News because, I mean, just go on a diet or stop eating so much. But you're going to sew something onto your tongue to prevent you from eating? That's nuts. Now, the side effects, of course, include difficulties in speaking. Imagine that. and a tendency to wake suddenly from sleep. Now, talk about a serious case of dry mouth. I couldn't even imagine that thing. If that got stuck to the top of my mouth when I was sleeping, I'd be in a world of hurt. So, and there are other people, and like Deb said, that some people do have their jaws wired shut so they can lose weight, and they have the bypass surgery, and there's just so many different things out there. But this is beyond crazy to me. I mean, you're going to put something and just sew it onto your tongue so you can't eat? That's crazy. Now, this procedure, it's $2,000 for the procedure. Now, why wouldn't you just take $2,000 and go hire a physical trainer or something, or a dietitian or somebody? $2,000. I bet people are already doing this at home. That's what is creepy to me. There's another story that came up, and I didn't really get to read much of this, but the headline caught my eyes when I was looking through here. And this is about a teen who drank nearly a liter of soy sauce. And he survived an overdose without any brain damage. This is the student, then at 19 years old, drank a full quart of soy sauce in a hazing incident at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville, where he was a Zeta Pi fraternity pledge in 2011. And media reports say he was also dared to eat dog food, matzo balls, and gefilte fish. I've never had gefilte fish, but sounds disgusting. The study's authors said to their knowledge, the peak salt concentration in his blood was the highest documented among adults who had survived without neurologic deficits. So he arrived at the emergency room in a comatose state with seizure-like activity, they said, 2 hours after drinking his soy sauce. And reports say he was also foaming at the mouth. That's creepy. That is absolutely creepy. Some hazing stunt went horribly wrong. I mean, there's such thing as water toxicity, and you know, if you have too much salt, you can be in a world of hurt. But I didn't think of drinking soy sauce. That definitely made it on Goofy News. That's for sure. So don't go drinking tons of soy sauce. Have it a little bit. And my recommendation, thanks to my Hawaiian friends, is there's a soy sauce called Aloha Shoyu, and it is delicious. You'll never use regular soy sauce again. So Aloha Shoyu, use it. Now, I found this other story. This kind of cracks me up because, I mean, old people, they like to golf. Old men, they retire, they golf. But this story, they got serious. These old men, it's a dispute over golf. And it's not even over golf. It's just about a score. This is from a foursome in golf. And it says when a member of a foursome announced his score after a particular hole, one of the golfing buddies thought he was lying. The 56-year-old, I'll say that again, a 56-year-old man broke his 5-iron over the alleged fibber's arm. Then he used the broken shaft of the 5-iron to stab the 65-year-old's arm. He broke his club and stabbed the 65-year-old guy that was playing him because he reported a wrong score. Now, either they had a lot of money bet on that and riding on that, or that guy was just nuts and serious about golf. Insane, really? I mean, I know Detroit is a tough place, and this was on a Detroit golf course, but man, talk about competitive. I don't know. He said when the attacker got free and started chasing in his own golf court, he was going after the guy that stabbed him. I mean, they were like, the guy that stabbed him hops in his golf cart and takes off. So he snaps his club, stabs the guy in the arm because apparently he got a par instead of a bogey, and then he takes off in his golf cart, and then his 65-year-old guy with a club sticking out of his arms chasing after him in a golf cart. That I would have paid to see right there. You don't get stories like that usually. That is hilarious. For those of chocoholics out there and people that love chocolate, there's a new snack that's out, and I guarantee that it will ruin chocolate for you forever. No matter how much you absolutely love chocolate. But this is actually a company from Great Britain. I wish I was making this up. I'm really not. This is a company with a product called Edible Anus. And this is a line of chocolates from the Great Britain, of course, that come in the shape of a human anus. Each box comes with 3 truffles: white chocolate, milk chocolate, and dark chocolate. So, I'm going to put the picture on my website after this and a link to the story because you have got to see this. I don't think whoever buys this needs to have their own crazy website or crazy TV show because it looks disgusting. And people really buy it. I don't know why, or I don't get it. Edible anus, chocolate butthole. Now you can buy it. Enjoy. That was one of the pinnacles of the goofy stories that I found online. And that one I'll never forget, and you especially will never forget. So you're welcome for that. Lastly, there's for those of us who are too afraid of going to prison, we can finally fulfill our curiosity about the prison food, because there's actually a prison food taste test in Philadelphia, a city who has become renowned for its hip and innovative restaurant scene. A local tourist attraction is offering decidedly different fare prison food. So, no, John Rainey, I did not order one of those edible anuses. I just saw that in the chat. I, in fact, ordered 4, okay? I wanted a white chocolate, dark chocolate, and 2 regular chocolates, okay? So now that we cleared that up, I did order the edible anuses. I'm sending them to you, by the way, John. But this prison food, back to this delectable treat, over the weekend, this Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia will serve visitors sample inmate meals from the 1830s, 1940s, and today's. It includes broiled salted beef with Indian mush, hamburger with brown gravy and beets, and Nutriloaf, an unappetizing concoction currently served as punishment in prisons across the country. So now you can have your own prison food if you were really curious about that. I definitely always have been, so now I can go and try it out. Indian mush. That definitely sounds pretty amazing to me. But that's it for Goofy News. I will go to a quick commercial break here, and we'll be right back with you on Live Speak with Justin the Geek.
Need a do-it-yourself with your web? DigitalCraft.com teach you how to build, design, and maintain your website at an affordable price. They offer private training on web programming, graphic and web design, video production, motion graphics, and expert consulting. Book your session today on Facebook at facebook.com/TheDigitCraft and check out free tutorials at youtube.com/TheDigitCraft or take our courses on udemy.com. TheDigitalCraft.com, your web and design gurus. You're listening to Live Speak with Justin the Geek. Every Sunday at 2 p.m., he's bringing you amazing courses from great instructors on udemy.com. Lots of tech talk, phone calls, and much more. Live every Sunday of every week. This is Live Speak. Enjoy the show.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Live Speak with Justin the Geek. Hope you liked that segment. That was a kind of a collaboration between some of the listeners. Richard had mentioned that to do some crazy news, and Deb, I think, also mentioned that. So I thought I'd throw that in there, try it out. So if you like that, let me know. I like it. I think crazy stories are fun to do. But on to some real tech news in the world. I wanted to talk about a few things that you should definitely be concerned about, or at least know about, if anything. The first one is that the NSA is actively spying on every single U.S. Verizon customer right now. The National Security Agency is collecting phone records of millions of U.S. citizens on Verizon. It's ongoing every day. A top secret court order forced Verizon to give up all the call data. The Guardian, which got a hold of the court order made by Secret Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, reports that the government basically has unlimited authority to obtain the data for specified 3-month period ending on July 19th. The order was granted on April 25th, so the data has been collected since April 25th, and we're just now hearing about it. So if you're on Verizon, you've been being recorded, listened to, watched, even with your phone calls. So be aware of that. If you want to know exactly what the NSA is collecting, the court order says that Verizon has to give up all call details or telephony metadata created by Verizon for communications between the United States and abroad, or within the United States, including local telephone calls. So it says the court defined the telephony metadata as telephony metadata includes comprehensive communications routing information, including, but not limited to, session identifying information. Basically, it looks like it's all jargon that nobody's going to understand. So be aware of that. They are recording everything on Verizon. I don't know who's going to be next. Sprint might be next. T-Mobile, who knows? Another thing that I wanted to talk about, too, is that the tech companies aren't telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I mean, as if they ever have been. But now there's the tech companies in this prism really aren't telling the truth. Companies like Apple, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, AOL, YouTube, Skype. These companies have been associated with Prism, and they've all unequivocally denied involvement with the spying program. Now, if you're curious what Prism is, last Friday, the Washington Post and Guardian dropped the concurrent reports that their subject was Prism, which is a covert collaboration between the NSA, FBI, and nearly every tech company you rely on daily. Prism has allowed the government unprecedented access to your personal information for at least the last 6 years. But what is it exactly? Now, as much as Prism might sound like some kind of comic book antagonist of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something, it's the code name for a very real U.S. government program. According to the leaked documents, it went into effect in 2007 and has only gained momentum since then. Its stated purpose is to monitor potentially valuable foreign communications that might pass through the U.S. servers, but it appears that in practice its scope was way bigger. It is scary. Now a lot of people are talking about this, and I'll put this article also, the link. It's a great one on Gizmodo about this, because everybody's denying that they're part of it, and the ones that are dancing around it are saying that we didn't provide them any part of any program or give them any information directly. But what they're saying is that they created these access points, sort of like they basically opened a door, and when it's requested, the government will request, I need such and such information, and let's use Facebook, for instance. Facebook will say, okay, well, you can't have it, but I'll set it over here for you. Here's the key. You could go in and get it. So it's like if somebody were to say that you, no, I didn't have somebody rob my house, but I gave them the key to my storage center that had all my stuff in it. So it's basically the same thing, and that's what the Prism's all about, and everybody's denying they're a part of it, but it's starting to get unraveled bit by bit. So I wanted you guys to know about that. Let's go to another quick commercial break here, and I'll come back and we're going to talk about the Adobe thing really quick. So we'll be right back with you.
Do you like the sound of my commercials? Do you want a commercial? Do you want to play it on your show? Then head over to Mike Wagner at Fiverr.com. Get yours produced now. www.fiverr.com/MWagner. Get fast, friendly, professional commercials at an affordable price. You provide the script, or we will write one for you.
Tell us what special effects you need, or we can add them on for you.
Check out our features to make your commercials sound great. Go to www.fiverr.com/MWagner and get your commercial done today. www.fiverr.com/MWagner. Also affiliated with www.MikeWagnerVoiceover.com.
This is the one you've been waiting for.
Justin the Geek. Check this out. Fire.
Assume the position.
Mixing it up.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Live Speak. I hope you're all worried now, because I think it's good that you should be. You should be questioning technology companies and not just accepting what they're telling us, because it's never what they say. Now, on to my Adobe experience yesterday. One of the first things that they talked about was Adobe After Effects, and that was the main goal of it. But as we got into the question and answering, the big Q&A at the end, Steve Ford, the senior product manager, actually came up and offered to answer any question at all. And it didn't matter what it was, which is really brave for a software company to do, for one. But one of the biggest things was, of course, the debate about how the new Adobe Creative Cloud versus the old DVD sets and packaged Creative Suite. A lot of people don't understand what the difference is and the benefits of it, and I really didn't understand it until yesterday. And I have an audio clip here, and I'll play it, and I apologize for the quality of it, but I was apparently the levels were down a little further, so hopefully you can hear it. But this is Steve Ford talking about the benefit of the cloud software suite of Adobe.
So do you see these applications being eventually over time only available on the cloud, or will you be selling disks as well? Or
So you're really talking about like an electronic software download, like in terms of, in other words, you can download our applications and you can put them on a DVD or something like that, but we are not shipping boxes anymore. We do not make DVDs anymore.
I understand the download, but for instance, Adobe News, every few days when you go to open that up and use it, you have to activate it on the Creative Cloud, right? So you can't.
That's a bug.
Yeah.
That's not the way.
That happens all the time.
You have the, let me ask, did you download something called Creative Cloud Connection?
Creative what?
Creative Cloud Connection. It was a thing for syncing files into your files.
Yeah.
Get rid of that and you won't have that problem anymore.
I see.
So there's Steve Ford, and he's talking about the Creative Suite Cloud, or I should say Creative Cloud, and they're no longer doing disks forever. That's done. He did talk a little bit more about the benefits of it, and what he had told us, and he told me after the show especially, was that you can use deployment tools to install the software on many computers at once, which you could have done before, but being that it was a disk, you'd have to have 10 disks. So now that it's on the cloud, and if they all have internet connection, you can deploy the software to many computers, which is great. And that's, for me as a network technician, is huge. Another benefit is that all the versions will be available if you have a membership. So meaning if Adobe decides to update to version 7, CS7, and your computer is only capable of running version CS6, you don't have to upgrade if you don't want to. They don't force that upon you. So also, if you have other computers that can't even run CS6, you have an older computer and you want to put Photoshop on it, you can actually put old versions like CS3 or CS4 on it. They're all available now because they're on the cloud. Before, you'd have to go and buy the new software set, and you can download just Photoshop. Adobe has 13 different software products, so if you just need Photoshop, you can go and get it on the cloud instead of buying Adobe's Creative Suite and having to get Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere, you name it, and paying a ton of money. I know you could do that before. You can buy Photoshop separately, but most of the time it's in a Creative Suite pack. Now, they talked about some of the misconceptions with the activation issues and overall misconceptions about the cloud software. And again, these are all fielded by Steve Ford, and I'll let you listen to this too. This is about a minute and a half long clip of him talking about some misconceptions. Also, this has Todd Capriva, the technical support for them, explaining how the activation process works, because it's been very confusing. So here's Steve Ford and Todd Capriva.
A lot of misconceptions about the cloud. You don't run it in your browser. I think that one's obvious. You install it just like you normally would. Do you have to be connected to the internet? Anybody worried about being connected to the internet? No, you don't. So the reality is that yes, you will phone home every now and again to find out if you're still a subscriber. Say you go on expedition to Antarctica for a period of time and you have no connectivity. Your apps will still run for a period of 99 days before trying to phone home and then alerting you about what that's going to do.
Not exactly. So,
okay.
It's as good as that, but it's slightly different, and it's important to make sure people don't think they were misled.
Okay.
So every 30 days, the application will check for activation. If it doesn't find that it has an activation, it will start a countdown clock that is 99 days long.
Correct.
And at the end of that 99 days, then it will say, okay, I can't work anymore because it's been 99 days since I could make a connection.
Yeah.
So there's a check once every 30 days. If it can't make a connection, you have 99 days to reestablish the connection.
It's a slightly different also though if you have the month-to-month connection or the month-to-month subscription. That only is, I believe, 5 days.
The grace period is 30.
Grace period is 30, but it's on a connect.
It used to be 5 up until about a week ago. Now it's 30.
No, but it obviously can't go to the 99 days, or else that's how you're a month-to-month subscriber at that point.
So again, there's Steve Ford and Todd Capriva, and it gets a little confusing at the end with the activation. It sounds like they're not really even sure what's going on. But basically, you download it using internet connection, and then you have a certain amount of days, depending on your membership, to use it offline. because it does check in every so often to make sure you're still an active member. If you have a yearly membership, like you said, every 99 days it checks in. So that's good to know. Now, I had a question when I was there. After talking about all of this, it was a big question for me, and it was basically about quality and how. And I use Microsoft as an example because now that Adobe is on the cloud and it's easy for them to put out new versions of software, are they going to end up like Microsoft and just make a crappy version of the software, throw it out on the internet, and then basically finish it while we're using it, like Microsoft does, like with Windows 8. They just push it out. It was crap. It didn't work. Now they use Windows updates to fix it while we're the beta testers. And Steve Ford started to answer my question here, but David Simons, actually the creator, original creator of After Effects, jumped in on it because he actually had a really good point that I hadn't thought of before. So this is about a 6-minute clip, so I'll let you listen to this, and we'll be back in just a little bit.
I have a question. When you talk about Creative Cloud and updates being really easy, I'm curious if it's going to create like a cluster of updates. Like, let's use Microsoft, for example, with their Windows updates. Every week you get 40 of them. I'm wondering if down the line, if Adobe's going to, they're going to push things out so fast that they don't have to worry about the quality anymore because of they don't have to put it in a package and pay for the packaging. It's just updated.
Well, I think, let me address that in one way. It's
the opposite. We no longer have to sit with all of the other apps, whether we're ready or not. If we don't think the quality's there, it's like, no, let's take another month. We can get done.
Yeah, I want to reinforce that. Paul and I are both on the quality engineering team, and one of the things that frustrates the dickens out of us is that we have, because of Creative Suite, a set date that we absolutely must hit because of applications much bigger than After Effects that drive schedules. And sometimes we have to hit that date and we think, oh, we're not quite ready with these features. They're not quite far enough along, but we don't want to not put them in and have to wait another year before we can. But with this model, we can say, hey, Photoshop hit the date of June 17th, but we want to hit June 24th for that extra little bit of quality. We can. So this is actually going to increase quality substantially.
And by the way, the difference between the Microsoft team and either the Maxon or the After Effects team is creating another tile and creating a patch is nothing trivial. Nobody wants to do that every week.
To your point also, though, of annoying you with updates, it's funny because I walk in, somebody will say, oh, where do you work? And I say, I work at Adobe. And they're kind of like, Adobe. Isn't that the company that makes that updater thing that's always going on? Yeah, that's it. That's what we do. Yeah, that's it. So, point taken, right? I mean, I think that you're going to see a lot more streamlined process around the installers, around updates. There's actually an application that is part of Creative Cloud where we're combining a lot of that messaging, you should be able to be notified there's an update. But you shouldn't get this thing going, update me, right, every 15 seconds, which drives me nuts.
Anytime you put your machine to sleep.
Yeah.
I think also on the note of frequent updates, I think the Microsoft and Acrobat updates happen so frequently because they're addressing security holes, security issues. After Effects and Maxon probably aren't as big targets as that, so obviously we're going to fix any of those issues, but more so the focus is getting the features out as opposed to, and so that would be more in cadence with hopefully like 3 months as opposed to every week or every,
I just worry because like use Windows 8 for example, as Microsoft was supposed to do something with it, but they had a deadline and they just pushed it out anyway, and then they used the updates to finish it.
So this is the part again. It's because they had that deadline, right? In the sense that we get to control our destiny a lot more. I mean, let's face it, After Effects we have 13 applications in our collection, from that side, plus a lot of extra services. Many of those applications much bigger than After Effects, right? But in this case, we are very close to the After Effects community. That's why we harp on using those things, because it is real people that use that stuff. And we'll go code it up. Like the bicubic, I forget, I was outside. Did you show bicubic?
I talked about it.
So bicubic scaling, this is an example. Dan Wilk, who works with Dave Simons and one of the original COSA guys as well, I came in and I was talking about, yeah, we got to fix scaling. Yeah, we've been talking about fixing scaling for years, and oh, it's got all these problems. And we were sitting there arguing about it in the hall, and Dan basically just came out of his office, don't worry about it, it's done. I was like, huh? Oh, yeah, no, I just finished, it's done, forget it. The interesting thing is again, that had to wait a long period of time, but that was something we just heard loud and clear. And there's always a debate in how you do it and that kind of stuff, but you get it out. And I think that would have a dramatic impact, especially when you're scaling raster image. It's a big deal.
I guess one of the concerns that I think many people have, which you look at that from the other angle, now that Adobe has this guaranteed money flow, this income stream coming in by essentially being now forced to keep paying this membership if you want to keep working this profession. What is your incentive to keep improving this?
Yeah, I think it's a question I've heard quite a bit. Also a bit just about ownership. What happens if I stop subscribing? So,
yeah. So people say, oh, so we want to have an incentive to upgrade the happen, but I would say we have a much stronger incentive because if you're paying every month and there's something better out there, you're going to switch. Our incentive is to make great software that you are happy to pay for, and it's no longer how can we come up with software that's going to convince people to upgrade. It's how do we keep our paying customers? So we can concentrate on the people who are already paying us. We have to, the people who are paying month to month become the number one priority. And that's the way it should be, right? I care much more about the people who are using the software now than like, how do we convince this other person who never has used the software to buy it? Which used to be the thing that we're supposed to concentrate on. And if you think about the pressure on the Photoshop team, well, we have to ship in March because look at the bottom line. We don't ship a new upgrade. We get people to upgrade it. Have to ship March. Okay, well, they just cram stuff in there. It's not ready. It's buggy. And you have to do bug fixes. So we're really incented to ship great stuff that works and makes everybody really happy, and you'll then be happy to keep paying. And you won't go off to something else like Pixelmate or something else.
So there you go. That's Steve Ford and David Simons. And, of course, addressing my question. And like they said, you're never really forced to update. And that's good. It's not automatically turned on like Microsoft. And like Steve Ford and David Simons mentioned, it'll possibly create better quality because they don't have deadlines, which I never thought of before. Because as a whole, like I said, they have 13 different products. And they have to package something up and release the entire thing on DVD. That means that everything has to be done in the exact same deadline. And that's just not how businesses work. Each product has different deadlines. And like I said before, if Adobe After Effects missed a deadline, then they would have to wait 6 months to a year to release that update. So now instead with the cloud, they can just say, you have your update, we have ours. You can put yours out whenever you're ready, we'll put ours out whenever we're ready. And they're like they said, that's the key to retention. They're focusing on making a great software. And more importantly, great software that current users are happy paying for. And like David Simons says, they aren't concentrating on people that haven't used it. They're trying to retain the current users and make them happy. So that's a lot of pressure there to keep people paying monthly or yearly versus trying to go out and get people that have never used it before to come over and buy it. That's much harder. I think they've done very well in relying on the word of mouth and having people use their products, which are great products, and then tell other people in the industry about it. So it's really great. I don't know how all the cloud-based software suites will operate besides Adobe, but Adobe has a great plan, it sounds like, and they've always had great products, and I'm sure they will continue to. But we'll go to a quick commercial break here, and when we get back, I'm going to talk a little bit about feedback for Adobe and in general with companies and doing what you should be doing that most people hate doing. So we'll be right back on LiveSpeak.
Stop. Everyone listen to me. You're spending hundreds of dollars and wasting time taking your computer to the Geek Squad. If you want your computer to run better, here is the secret. Do it yourself. I know that sounds like a lot of work, but I promise you it's not. With proper guidance, you can get your computer running like brand new again. See for yourself. Sign up for Computer Repair for Beginners and Experts alike today. It's only $9. That's it. Even if you don't think your computer needs a tune-up, this course is designed to help prevent future problems from happening. If someone told you that you could prevent your car from breaking breaking down, would you take advantage of it? Of course you would. So why neglect your computer, especially for only $9? And every review has been a perfect 5-star rating that speaks for itself. With a no questions asked 30-day money-back guarantee, what do you have to lose? Head over to www.geekcreations.com and click online courses to get started today. Save yourself a headache. Fix it in one day so you can get back to using your computer again. Go now. www.geekcreations.com. That's GEEKREATIONS.com and click online courses. Time is wasting. Go now.
Justin the Geek. Break it up, break it up, break it up. On the ones and twos.
All right, welcome back, everybody, again to Live Speak. I want to talk to you about something I heard at this show yesterday, which made me think of my job and, more importantly, what we use and don't do every day, and that's sending feedback to these companies and turning on your data sharing. For some reason, most of us hate the dialog boxes that come up saying, would you like to send this crash report? It's annoying to us. We're doing something, we don't want to send information of any sort. Now, thinking about the news I was talking about earlier in the Verizon reports, your information's already out there, whether you know it or not. So why not send thankful but important information to the companies that you want to send it to? Like for Adobe, how else are they going to know the frequency of the problem that you're having or a certain bug that's happening? They won't know how often that's happening. If it just happens to you and you never report it, they won't ever know about it and they can't fix it. So as an IT person in regular troubleshooting, we use trouble ticket systems, and every issue that comes up goes into the system, and that allows us to analyze how often a particular problem is happening, and then we can work on preventative solution once we fix that and make sure that it doesn't happen again. And that's what they're trying to do with this feedback and the data sharing. They're not trying to take your information and sell it. I mean, what they're getting is bits of code anyway, usually, and what you're doing at the time in their program. It's not like you're sending them your bank account information or anything like that. But it's really simple. If you like the product and you want it to be improved, send them feedback. It's quick. It doesn't take you really long just to hit OK and send it so they know about it. Like I said, they don't know how to fix it if they don't know it's broken. So another thing that annoys support people like myself, and they were talking about it especially there, was not leaving your email address. They said it was really funny how often they'd get complaints and tons of bad language about something not being fixed, yet no one would leave their email address. So the support people can't email you back and get more information, which most of the time is needed. And secondly, they can't email you to tell you it's fixed. So leave your email address. If you're afraid of getting spammed or giving an email address away, I've mentioned this on my show many, many, many times before. Create a junk email address. It's easy. Name it something for junk, like justinsjunk@gmail.com. It's free. And use that for signing up for online junk. If you have to sign up for subscriptions for anything and you don't want to give your good email address away, use that one. Or when you're at the store and people, for some reason, anytime you buy anything nowadays, they ask for your email address. But if they insist on having an email address, you can give them that crap one. And it'll go in there. So you can still see what you're supposed to be getting, but you don't have to worry about it messing up any of your accounts or any of your contacts. Don't put contacts in there because a lot of things with email viruses and stuff will go and grab all your contacts and then send itself to all your contacts. So just leave it empty, leave it there for junk. That's my suggestion, but send the feedback. The cloud software, cloud period, is the future. Someone actually asked about a feature for Adobe during the Q&A, and they asked if cloud rendering would ever be possible, and Steve Ford loved it. In fact, his eyes got really big because he sees that might happen someday. Right now, I don't know if we have the speed to render, like a movie in the cloud, but someday we will. And there's actually a phenomenal video that I'll put on my website after I get it all up and going. It's the next 20 years, and it's a video of Steve Ford and David Simons talking about the next 20 years, and what's going to happen. It's really intriguing to think about. But I mean, like they say in this, get used to the cloud because it's here to stay. I'm not saying you can't have your DVD, your set of programs on DVD anymore. Steve Ford mentioned in the Q&A that you can still download whichever software package you want, put it on DVDs, and keep them. But as of now, Adobe is, no longer using DVDs. But you can go ahead and put them on DVDs and store them away if you want. But everything's going to the cloud. It's easier for business. It cuts back on shipping costs. All that stuff that they're saving money on is going into quality for the product in most cases. But the cloud is here. I'll put that video up. It's actually a really great video to watch. It's only about 9 minutes or so. But you can see the things they talk about, how hardware is going to change and how software is going to change and how big the cloud's going to get. It's interesting. You have to go watch it. But next week, Alan and I, Alan will be back. He's currently on the road. I don't know if he made it back yet or not. I haven't heard from him. But we have a great show lined up for you next week. Also, keep listening to find out when we'll be having comedian Felipe Schaefer on the show. He has a course on Udemy now called the Ultimate Beginner's Course, or Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Stand-Up Comedy, which is, I love stand-up comedy, I always have. And so for all of you out there that aren't funny at all and really want to know what it's like to be funny, or if you just want to be a stand-up comedian, make sure and tune into that show. I'm sure it'll be an entertaining show, to say the least. So I'm getting together with him and try and figure out the dates that he can be on the show, and I'll announce that coming up. And I'll also announce the dates for the CEO of Maxon Software. That's going to be a good one too, for Cinema 4D. That's what they do there. So that's it for this week. Keep your conversations on Verizon short. Question the agendas of big tech companies and get used to things being done in the cloud. See you next week at 2 p.m. Pacific time here on LiveSpeak with Justin the Geek.
You've been listening to Live Speak with Justin the Geek. Every Sunday at 2 p.m., Justin brings you amazing courses on Udemy.com and amazing guests and great conversation. Miss an episode? No problem. Go to www.geekcreations.com and click on the episode to listen. And join us next week for another episode of Live Speak with Justin the Geek.